The Star Citizen community just exploded over leaked IAE 2025 ship reveals, and honestly, watching the reactions has been better entertainment than most Netflix shows. 6 new vessels are dropping this year, including something cryptically called the RSI Salvation, that has players either liquidating their savings accounts or drafting manifestos about corporate greed. While everyone's busy arguing about power creep and mortgage-threatening ship prices, they're completely missing what's actually happening. CIG just fundamentally rewrote how ship development works, and most players haven't even noticed yet. You know that specific 3 a.m. moment when you're scrolling through Spectrum with cold coffee and suddenly see a leak that makes you question every life choice that led to owning 17 digital spaceships? That's exactly what happened when these 6 ships surfaced. The community's more divided than a family dinner during election season, half celebrating like they just won the lottery, half preparing funeral arrangements for their bank accounts. Both reactions make perfect sense once you dig into what these ships actually represent. After spending way too many hours parsing leaked details, heated Reddit threads, and Discord arguments that are probably still raging somewhere, the implications for your hangar go deeper than anyone's talking about. What we're actually looking at isn't just another ship sale. It's 6 vessels that completely redefine how professions work in Star Citizen. The RSI Perseus we saw coming from orbit, but the RSI Hermes, Greycat MDC, Kruger L-22, Alpha Wolf, Drake Clipper, and that mysterious RSI Salvation represent something unprecedented in the game's development. Think of it like your favorite MMO suddenly dropping 6 new classes that don't just add options, they make half the existing classes obsolete overnight. The meta doesn't shift, it gets demolished and rebuilt from scratch. Most players see this as CIG's latest attempt to drain wallets, but there's something more significant happening. This marks their transition from selling concept dreams to delivering actual functionality, which solves the community's biggest complaint: waiting years for ships that might never work as advertised. The catch? Your current fleet might suddenly feel very dated. The Alpha Wolf situation reveals something brilliant that everyone's missing while they argue about laser variants. You remember when the Wolf's weapons became removable in 4.3.2, right? That wasn't some random balance tweak. That was CIG testing modular weapon systems that could eliminate the entire concept of buying separate variants. Think about it. Instead of owning an Ion and an Inferno, you'd have one Ares chassis with swappable weapon packages. Instead of debating between a Hornet F7C and F7CM, you'd buy one Hornet and configure it for your mission. The community assumes this hurts CIG's bottom line, but actually it creates sustainable revenue through modular upgrades rather than gambling on concept ships that might disappoint 2 years later. The recent Hornet line consolidation wasn't just cleanup, it was proof of concept. The Alpha Wolf is their testing ground for making modularity standard across all manufacturers, which means every variant you've ever bought might become redundant. Now, you're probably thinking, great, another way for CIG to monetize my existence. And that skepticism is absolutely earned. You've been through the Ares controversy, the Corsair nerfs that made half the community rage quit, the endless cycle of buying ships only to watch them get rebalanced into mediocrity. But what if, and stick with me here, this modular approach actually breaks that cycle? And if you're finding this breakdown useful for navigating the chaos, maybe hit that subscribe button. Not because you need another YouTuber in your life, but because someone should probably keep track of which ships become paperweights next month. The RSI Hermes is where things get genuinely fascinating, and everyone dismissing it as just an Apollo cargo variant is missing the bigger picture entirely. Hermes, messenger of the gods, guide between worlds. CIG doesn't name ships randomly. This is a direct challenge to the Mercury Star Runner's monopoly on data running, while creating an entirely new category of hybrid profession ships. You felt the MSR's limitations during those long quantum jumps between data collection points. The cargo space feels cramped when you're trying to haul both data and physical goods. The data storage seems primitive compared to what server meshing demands. The interior flow makes simple tasks feel like navigating a maze designed by someone who clearly never had to use it. The Hermes likely combines Apollo-class cargo capacity with dedicated data infrastructure, plus that rumored top-loading mechanism that could transform cargo gameplay from tedious to actually enjoyable. But there's an uncomfortable truth lurking here. If the Hermes outperforms the MSR in both cargo capacity and data running efficiency, your Mercury might become the most expensive hangar decoration you own. CIG isn't just filling gaps anymore. They're creating ships that make existing ones feel obsolete. These lessons always hit at the worst possible moments. Picture this. You've finally mastered your Constellation Taurus. Months of perfecting cargo runs, knowing exactly how much you can haul, where every control lives, how to work around that awkward cargo bay geometry. You're comfortable, efficient, profitable. Then the Starlancer Max drops. Suddenly, you're standing at Area 18's cargo terminals, watching Max pilots effortlessly organize massive loads while you're still wrestling with the Connie's limitations like some kind of space-age caveman. That moment of realization stings differently than regular game frustration. Your reliable ship isn't just outdated, it's fundamentally outclassed by newer design philosophy. The hours spent mastering its quirks feel wasted. But then something clicks. This isn't about CIG invalidating your choices. It's about them finally delivering on promises made years ago. Sometimes you need that humbling moment to recognize how far the game has actually evolved, even when it hurts your pride and your wallet simultaneously. The RSI Salvation represents the most significant strategic opportunity CIG has created in years, and most players are completely sleeping on it while they obsess over the flashier ships. Salvage gameplay is transitioning from experimental feature to core profession, and this starter salvage ship fills the massive gap between the limited golem and the crew-dependent reclaimer. But there's a deeper play here that goes beyond salvage mechanics. Historically, starter profession ships become the most valuable fleet assets long-term. The prospector still dominates solo mining efficiency despite years of new ships. The Cutlass Black anchored combat viability for years before power creep caught up. The pattern is consistent. Starter profession ships maintain relevance because they're designed for efficiency, not spectacle. If you're thinking strategically, the Salvation isn't just a salvage ship purchase. It's positioning yourself for the most cost-effective UEC generation once salvage mechanics fully mature. For newer players, this represents entry into profitable gameplay loops without massive crew coordination requirements. For veterans, this is your low-risk, high-reward profession ship that operates independently while your larger vessels handle specialized roles. The smart money isn't on the biggest, flashiest ship. It's on the one that pays for itself fastest. Watching the community reaction unfold has been absolutely wild. Spectrum's burning with debates about variant fatigue, Reddit's having its usual existential crisis about CIG's monetization strategies, and Discord servers are split between cautious excitement and complete exhaustion. Some players are calling this the final cash grab, while others defend it as natural game evolution. The divide runs deeper than ship preferences. It's about fundamental trust in CIG's development direction. Longtime backers recognize this as exactly what the community requested for years. More ship variety, more profession options, more meaningful choices. Newer players see it as overwhelming complexity designed to extract maximum wallet damage. Both perspectives have merit, which makes the community arguments even more entertaining to observe from the sidelines. Strategic approach matters more than impulse purchases when dealing with this lineup. If you own an L21 Wolf, resist the immediate panic about the Alpha Wolf announcement. The modular weapon system means you'll likely access upgrade options without purchasing an entirely new chassis, assuming CIG follows through on their modularity promises. Mercury Star Runner owners need to seriously evaluate the Hermes, but wait for detailed gameplay specifications before making any melting decisions you might regret later. The Salvation represents probably the strongest investment opportunity in this entire lineup for one simple reason. Starter profession ships consistently maintain value better than any other ship category, and salvage gameplay is positioned for major expansion. The common mistake is trying to acquire everything because of FOMO. The intelligent approach is identifying which single ship solves your biggest current limitation in the verse. Focus on capability gaps, not collection completion. Your hangar doesn't need every ship. It needs the right ships for how you actually play it. This IAE lineup will permanently reshape Star Citizen's ship ecosystem in ways we're only beginning to understand. 6 potentially game-changing vessels, the end of traditional concept sales, and CIG's modular approach to ship variants all point toward a fundamentally different future for the game. Your next move is evaluating your current fleet against these new possibilities. Drop a comment sharing which ship has you most intrigued, and more importantly, which ship currently gathering dust in your hangar might suddenly become relevant again. Hit that like if this breakdown helped cut through the community chaos and gave you some clarity on what's actually worth your attention. Thanks for diving deep into this with me, citizens. The verse keeps evolving, and staying ahead of these changes makes all the difference between thriving and just surviving out there. In Star Citizen, the most valuable cargo you can carry is always information, and the best ship is the one that gets you where you need to go without bankrupting you in the process. See you in the black, and may your quantum drives stay calibrated.